The following is a rebroadcast of Newsline 9 Late Edition, which originally aired at 10 p.m. this evening.
Working in the spirit of Oklahoma, this is Newsline 9.
A steady stream of Oklahoma General Motors workers sent home tonight. A strike in Ohio put the brakes on work at our General Motors plant. No parts means production grinds to a stop. Good evening, everyone. Glad you're with us tonight. I'm Kelly Ogle.
And I'm Jennifer Reynolds. The impact of the strike keeps spreading. Thousands of workers now affected at more than a dozen GM plants in North America. The strike at the Ohio brake plant started a week ago, and union officials say this could be a long one. As of tonight, the strike has sent home about 55,000 workers nationwide. In Oklahoma City, the GM plant employs about 4,300 people, and most of them won't be working. Demi
Capperl is live from the General Motors plant tonight, and Demi, from what we've seen, the place looks pretty deserted.
Yes, Kelly, normally at this hour, the parking lot is full because the evening shift is at work, but right now it's almost empty. Workers began streaming out of the GM plant behind me about an hour ago. They stopped working because there is a lack of parts because of the strike up north. But surprisingly, most of them had a good attitude. They say that this is a needed sacrifice.
This is the first few minutes of my unemployment.
John Plunkett has his first taste of unemployment in his 17 years at this plant. Rail strikes have idled this facility before, but this is the first time a GM worker strike elsewhere has affected it. Most workers, though, are supporting the strikers up north. You can see how happy some of them are walking out of the plant about an hour ago.
You got to stand behind the union. If you don't stand behind it, you don't have nothing to stand on. We'll be working for Mexico wages.
Something's got to be done. They got to stop sourcing out jobs, and if we don't walk, we don't have a job eventually anyway, so.
I got to go along to the union.
Hire the ASAP?
Yeah, it'll help us on the long run. Might hurt right now, but on the long run, it'll help.
In the previous work stoppages due to the rail strikes, the workers here have been able to get paid about 95% of their salaries. However, this time that's not the case. They will get their last paychecks this Friday. After that, on Sunday, they'll be eligible for unemployment. That's, I must stress, the first time in history that would be needed here should the Ohio strike go on longer. So the workers here have about a week of pay left. Now, some people will be coming back here tomorrow, and you can see there are still a few cars in the parking lot. That's because a few of the essential workers, like tool makers, electricians, pipe fitters, and housekeepers will be here. Kelly and Jennifer.
Demi, we know this plant makes the Sierra and the Century. Is there any likelihood that there will be a shortage of those cars for the buying public?
Not likely. They do have about a 2-day supply here still on the lots that are ready to go out by rail. But at dealers, there's a glut. These aren't the most popular GM cars, and some of the workers were telling me that a lot of the dealers have about 2 to 3 months worth of these particular vehicles.
Okay, Demi Capperl out of the General Motors plant in southeast Oklahoma City. One of the biggest GM plants hurt by the shutdown is in Spring Hill, Tennessee. The Saturn plant there employs 8,200 workers who have now run out of brake parts for their cars. But while the plant has halted production, workers there are keeping busy with maintenance assignments and training.
When this day began, many on Wall Street were wondering if they were facing another Black Monday. But after Friday's 171-point plunge, the market bounced back today. The Dow Jones up 110 points to close at 55.81. There was so much buying, limits on program trading kicked in this afternoon. Brokers are giving the credit for the rebound to individual investors looking for bargains. Oklahomans voice their presidential preferences tomorrow.
It's the Super Tuesday primary election. Oklahoma will join 6 other states in holding primaries, including Texas, Louisiana, and Florida. 362 delegates are up for grabs. Republican frontrunner Bob Dole is predicting a 7-state sweep. That isn't slowing down Pat Buchanan. He's campaigning across the Sooner State, vying for some last-minute votes. Buchanan told Oklahomans tonight that Dole is beatable.
We're going to break through, and if there's anyone we're going to do it, I believe it's Oklahoma.
Earlier today, Pat Buchanan spoke at a rally at the Republican headquarters in Tulsa, and this morning he answered questions on a call-in radio program in Ardmore.
Also on the ballot tomorrow, controversial state question 669. It's an amendment to the state constitution that would roll back property taxes and change the way property taxes can be increased. Supporters of 669 say it would take control of tax hikes away from politicians and protect elderly homeowners from tax increases that would force them from their homes. Opponents say it would hurt schools and libraries, make it harder to buy or sell a home, and would mostly benefit ranchers and other big property owners. Polls open as always at 7 and close at 7 p.m. We will have complete coverage for you from the ballot box to the final vote count. Look for updates throughout the day and into the evening, including live reports tomorrow night from the watch parties of those for and against 669. Warm temperatures and high winds combine for another day of high fire danger here in Oklahoma.
Wildfires burned around the metro and other parts of the state. Statewide today, there were 41 wildfires that blackened 2,100 acres of land. There are still 3 fires burning tonight. They're in eastern Oklahoma. Forestry officials are working to put those out. Now in Shawnee, more than a dozen wildfires today, and they were all deliberately set. A Pottawatomie County deputy sheriff went up in our Ranger 9 to try to spot the arsonist. At one point, 5 fires were burning at once. A barn burned, destroying a tractor, but fortunately, no homes were lost, no one was hurt. Shawnee residents are upset someone would deliberately endanger their lives.
I wouldn't want to meet him face to face. I really wouldn't, because I'm afraid I'd lose my temper. I really am, because I just have no use for anybody that wants to destroy property.
Somebody that's deranged, mentally deranged individual, that must be getting a kick out of it or a high or something, whatever, have no idea.
What would you say to someone like that?
I wouldn't have anything to say to him. I'd like to see him put away,
Shawnee firefighters got help from surrounding cities and volunteers. They're still searching for the arsonist. Very serious situation out there.
It is awfully dry out there, warm and windy, and it's going to get warmer.
Still holding out some hopes for rain, though, Gary. A slight chance up the road?
Slight chance some rain on Thursday. That's the way it looks right now. That's the way we'll keep it until it gets a little bit closer. Until then, we're going to continue on the warm afternoons and very windy and very dry side. And I'll have all those details in just a few moments.
All right, Gary, thank you. Some specifics in the downtown bombing trial coming to light tonight. The date is still undecided, but we do know which downtown Denver courtroom will host the trial. It'll be held in the Byron Rogers Federal Building. That's the newer court building, room C204. That's on the end of the second floor. Courtroom seats about 130 people. The location was chosen to minimize disruptions to other court business. It's doubtful those 130 seats will accommodate everyone who wants to attend the trial, so efforts to get a closed-circuit telecast of the trial are gaining momentum. Senator Nichols is now pushing to pass a bill that would change the rules on limited television coverage. Meanwhile, Attorney General Janet Reno has asked for $500,000 from the Office for Victims of Crime. The money would be used to pay travel costs for survivors and victims' families going to Denver for the trial.
More than 200 pages of documents in the bombing case that had been sealed were unsealed today at the request of Newsline 9 and other news organizations. The documents include information subpoenaed by McVeigh and Nichols' attorneys, mental health records for those injured in the blast, sales receipts on the album made after the bombing memorial, and on various bombing books. Also today, Edie Smith, whose 2 little boys died in the federal daycare center, has asked the court to let the discovery process in her lawsuit go on while the criminal case proceeds. Next, when you're building your dream home and it becomes a nightmare.
Coming up on Newsline 9, some Yukon residents share their scary stories of home building. It may save you some heartache.
And a little later, a fashion disaster waiting to happen. A necklace that is a health hazard. We'll tell you why coming up.
You're watching Newsline 9 with Kelly Ogle, Jennifer Reynolds, Bill Teagan Sports, Robin Marsh with your health, and Oklahoma's #1 meteorologist, Gary England. News is breaking, and Newsline 9 is there. These people don't just get the news, they get it right, or they won't put it on the air. Newsline 9's breaking news has been honored with an Emmy, and it's been recognized along with CNN and the BBC for the best breaking news coverage in the world. The people of Newsline 9, getting the news and getting it right. That's working in the spirit of Oklahoma.
A brand new home picked by the owner, built by the owner's friend for a reasonable price. It's a dream home. Only this dream turned into a nightmare. And it happened not just to one, but to at least 3 families who live within a block of each other in Yukon.
This is not a case of substandard construction, although there is some of that too. This is about a builder who takes the money and the money disappears. Alex Cameron has more.
Well, this was my first time to have a home. I've never owned a home before. And so
for Pam Martinez and Rick Levan, soon to be married, their new home was a symbol of a happy beginning. Just down the street, this new home was also a first and a new beginning for Fern Ruff.
I mean, I was thrilled to be able to do it. I was very happy.
But she's not happy anymore, and neither are Rick and Pam. Their homes were both built by a mutual friend, Don Smith, with TriStar Homes. They both paid TriStar, but the money never got to any of Smith's subcontractors.
When I wrote him checks that were supposed to be used to pay the workmen who worked on the house and for the materials that were used, and then you find out that those things were never paid, you wonder, where did your money go?
We don't get taken very often.
Gary Stambaugh is one of the subcontractors who hasn't been paid by TriStar. And until he and the other subs are paid, their only option is to put liens on the homeowners.
There's really nothing I can personally really do. You're just cooked.
We filed a police report with the Oklahoma City Police Department. I'm not so sure that there isn't some possible fraudulent activity going on.
In Yukon, Alex Cameron, Newsline 9.
And that'll be the job of the Oklahoma City Police to figure out. In the meantime, the homeowners and contractors say their efforts to find out where the money has gone are going nowhere. Smith is no longer working for TriStar, and TriStar President Ed Lyons hasn't offered a plausible explanation. Newsline 9 tried to contact both men today, but phone calls were not returned.
Up next, Gary has the latest on our chances for rain.
Well, the wind-blown look was really in today. Gusts 30 miles an hour and higher really carried things away.
It's a good excuse for having a bad hair day, though.
It really is. I like it.
I'm using it. I don't know about you. That's what I'm going for.
Yeah, it's a little windy, a little dry. Be about the same situation again tomorrow. So we'll check it out right now in Oklahoma City. Our temperature coming in at 50. The wind southeast 17, humidity 34%, barometric pressure 30.08 and falling. We'll check on the numbers. Record low for this date 1. And even though it's warming up, we still have the possibility of another freeze. So if you're going to run out and plant something, be careful what you plant. 36 and 63, what we had today for the low and high. Around the state right now, the winds are 10 to 20, some gusts a little bit higher, but they have decreased some. I think they're running about 10 to 20 tonight. In the morning, around 15 to 25. Then during the day tomorrow, 15 to 30 miles per hour with higher gusts, and the humidity will stay low tomorrow. The humidity should increase some on Wednesday. Presently, the temperature range across the state, 55, pretty close there, 55, 45 to 53, and out at Guyman coming in at 49. Highs tomorrow, 73 at Guyman, 46 back at Altus. Cool spot should be Miami with a 66. And once again, very strong southerly winds, 15 to 30 miles per hour. Extreme fire danger again tomorrow. Thursday, a slight chance for some showers and thunderstorms. Looking a little better, but we'll just, the way it's been, we're going to wait and watch on this one. The Gulf is opening up somewhat. That means southerly winds coming in from the Gulf of Mexico, bringing moisture in. Dallas tomorrow, 75, Houston, 73. And if those winds will maintain coming directly from the south, we'll end up with some moisture. But what's been happening to us as the storm systems come across toward Oklahoma, the winds shift and start blowing from southwest to northeast. That moves all the moisture out and leaves us high and dry. Hopefully this one coming up will not do it. 64 in Memphis, 58 in Kansas City, 50 at Chicago. A little snow in the Great Lakes, a little wet in the east central coast. Storm to our west. Only a piece of that energy will be coming out toward Oklahoma on Thursday. But if you're going out that direction, rain in San Francisco, rain in Los Angeles, probably some rain in San Diego, be rain, maybe a little snow close to Salt Lake City. But look at Denver, 66, 70 in Albuquerque. Looks like springtime, but to our far north, still very cold air up there, and it can still come down. There'll be a few days before it will, but eventually it may come down. In the 40s tonight, within an hour or so, and then we'll go about 43 in the morning, 72 tomorrow afternoon, strong southerly winds and a very high fire danger. And looks like after that 72 tomorrow afternoon, around a 75 on Wednesday and windy. 20% chance as it stands now for some showers and thunderstorms on Thursday. And then again, late Saturday and Sunday, we'll go a 20% chance for a few showers and thunderstorms. And now let's check out the written forecast. Here's the way it looks. Tonight on the cool side, 40s for lows. For tomorrow, fair and quite windy, 60s and 70s for highs. And for the metro, cool tonight, windy tomorrow, low of 43 and high about 72. And let's check out our internet World Wide Web address. If we could pop that up, it's www, did I say it 3 times? .kwtv.com. We're having a contest. Free things are being given away by drawing, so call in and get registered on that. And also, Martin and Virginia Houston, been married 50 years.
All right.
Isn't that fantastic?
Who says that never happens anymore?
Yeah, and they're not on the web yet, though.
Oh,
But
well.
they soon will be.
You know they will be.
Yep.
Thank you, Gary. Well, nobody minds being a little trendy, but this particular trend is also toxic.
Just ahead on Newsline 9, why these necklaces are the height of fashion and a health hazard at the same time. A fashion trend down in Texas could have toxic, even deadly consequences.
The problem is these necklaces are filled with mercury. They're being sold in Mexico and then brought across the border. Tests on the necklaces already collected show the vials contained 87% mercury. It's a highly toxic substance, especially for children.
There could be some kidney damage from long-term exposures, but principally you're talking neurological effects, dizziness, irritability, loss of memory.
They're dangerous.
Very, very dangerous.
So far, officials say 2 necklaces have broken. One of them, in one case, involved a 5-year-old child. Health officials are trying to round up the potential fashion disasters. Fires from last week forced most of the children in Weyauwega, Wisconsin out of their homes, but come Thursday they will be returning to school. Classrooms will be scattered in different locations across the town that days ago faced fires from tank car derailments. While students hit the books, technicians will still be pumping liquid propane from cars into a pit to prevent an explosion. Could be a couple of weeks before residents get back to their homes.
More American warships are headed toward the Taiwan Strait as tensions between Taiwan and China rise. China is about to begin live-fire war games in the area, but they appear to be more than just games. China is apparently trying to intimidate Taiwan's independence-minded president, who's hesitating at reunification with the communist mainland. Chinese officials say they hope for a peaceful reunification, but have not ruled out the use of force. Remember the great Skylab watch back in 1979? Well, here we go again. What's left of a Chinese satellite, a chunk about the size of a Volkswagen, is expected to crash to Earth sometime tomorrow, but where is anybody's guess? The satellite is expected to survive its fall through the atmosphere because it was built with heat shields on it. The scientists tracking it believe it will probably land in the ocean. Probably.
That's what they said about Skylab. Do you remember
Yeah, right.
people that had the hats with the
the helmet.
bullseyes on the top of them?
Get those out again, it's time. Well, the dance cards are being filled for the big dance.
Bill Tiggins waltzes in with more on March Madness next in sports.
And now, Newsline 9 Sports with Bill Tiggins.
Hi, everybody. The times are now set for the NCAA tournament games. You'll be able to see the big dance, as they say, right here in TV9 beginning on Thursday. Both OU and Tulsa are playing Friday morning, unfortunately, at the same time. OU at 11:25 against Temple, actually 5 minutes later. Maybe we'll see the end of that game. Tulsa and Louisville, that comes up at 11:30. Again, the Sooners meet the Temple Owls Friday morning. OU went back to work to get ready for Temple today, which was, once again, one of the toughest defensive teams in the country. Sooners were working out this afternoon at the Lloyd Noble Center, getting ready for those Owls. Bobby Joe Evans is one of the guys looking forward to the challenge, and he talked about the matchups with that tough defense.
I heard some of the Temple players on TV last night. It was talking about how they're going to come out and try to dog us or whatever, because they want to get dogged. But I've been out here an hour and a half before practice, been lifting weights and everything, so I'm trying to get ready for them.
There's no hidden secrets out there today. This is the age of the VCR, and every game's on satellite, and most programs have satellites and able to tape games. So they have a lot of tapes on us. We have a lot of tapes on them, but you know, you can throw that stuff out the window when we jump on that court at 12:30 on Friday, because kids have to step up and perform, and that's really what it comes down to.
Tulsa has a tough road as well, opening against Louisville in Milwaukee on Friday morning. The Golden Hurricane headed to the NCAA tournament for the 3rd straight year. They have been to the Sweet 16 2 straight years. It's a real challenge this season, and things haven't been easy, but it's been a team effort.
all the credit goes to those kids who've played hard, and they just worked their behinds off to do the things I've asked them to do. And they did some of the best playing at the end of the year during the tournament, and the results were we get a chance to go to Milwaukee and play Louisville in the NCAAs.
They're going to have to respect us. I mean, what we've done the last couple of years is just is a testimony to this program. I mean, it's on the up and up, and we're playing real well. You know, Louisville, as I said before, is a great team. Got great players, great coach, and we're just going to have to come out and play.
Final regular season Associated Press poll is out. UMass is #1 this week by a big margin. Kentucky second, then UConn, Georgetown, and Purdue tied for 4th, along with Kansas. Cincinnati's #7, then Texas Tech, Wake Forest, and Villanova. #11, Arizona, then Utah, Georgia Tech, UCLA, and Syracuse. Memphis, Iowa State, #17. Picked for last in the Big 8, Kelly. Win the Big 8 tournament, they're now 17.
By the sportscaster, right?
I picked them for second. I was probably the only guy that did. Penn State, 18, Mississippi State, Marquette, then Iowa, Virginia Tech, New Mexico, Louisville, and North Carolina. St. John's coach Brian Mahoney fired today. Among those mentioned as possible replacements, Tom Penders out of the University of Texas. And OSU's Cowgirls headed to the NCAA tournament. They'll take on Rhode Island on Friday afternoon in Athens, Georgia. Cowgirls are seeded 7th. In Montreal tonight, the final game in the 72-year history of the Montreal Forum, the home of all those great Canadian teams over the years. Tonight, many of the stars from years past came back to the Forum for ceremonies before the game. Guy Lafleur, one of the all-time greats. Jean Beliveau, another all-time great. And the Rocket, Maurice Richard, and his brother Andre, the Pocket Rocket, all there. The Canadians moving into a new building next week. Greatest hockey teams of all time here. Tonight, the Canadians hosting the Dallas Stars, and Montreal won it, which is the way it should be, 4-1 the final. Dallas Cowboys have signed a linebacker to replace those who have left for greener financial pastures. Fred Strickland, who played last year with the Green Bay Packers, signed a 2-year deal with the Cowboys today. And this is Gary and Kelly, what they do to kind of get psyched up before the 10 o'clock broadcast. It seems to work because they're doing a great job. But anyway, the Pistons on the move early against the Clippers. Joe Dumars to Grant Hill. Grant 30 points tonight, 10 rebounds, big night. And the Pistons won at 100-90. Also, college baseball today. Oklahoma State beat Iowa State, and the Cavs beat Florida 109-95.
Now, did you really pick Iowa State second in the Big 8?
No.
Well, let's go back and check that.
Okay,
all right?
I'll go back and
All right. Thank you, Bill. Well, there's always a first for everything.
When we come back, some baby penguins make a history-making entrance into the world.